Luke here for Following Strength. We're joined by James, the Train Jeffers, second at OSG this year, fourth at North America's, second at Canada's. How are you, mate?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's great to see all these videos that you've been doing with other athletes and some other people in the sport. So it's nice to be joined here with you.
Oh, it's a real pleasure to have you with us, man. I noticed you followed us on YouTube a month ago or so, and I thought, ooh, I wonder if we can ever
Yeah,
get the train on. Uh,
yeah,
so it's a real pleasure, man. And particularly welcoming you on now when you're kind of in everyone's thoughts with World's Strongest Man invites and also on the back of just a crazy year. Yeah, second at Canada's Strongest Man, second at OSG Worlds, fourth at North America's. How do you feel looking back on a year like that?
yeah. It was definitely my most successful year. It started off a little shaky because I actually had a little small surgery where I was like pretty much bedridden for 6 weeks, and then in the summer I became a first time parent. So we got a little baby boy. So that was in the summer. So like usually I would have competed at least at the Arnold Amateur. I've done that for the past few years. So I got to miss that. I actually got invited to Siberia last year too, but I had to miss that. So it was a, a unique spot to be in where I didn't have competitions or I wasn't training for the first half of the year. And then, yeah, we hit up the first competition was North America's Strongest Man, where, my goal for every competition is just to try and get better than I placed the year before. And that's what I did. I got fourth against, some of the best guys in North America. So I was very happy with that performance um, at North Americans. And then I did Canada's Strongest Man. It was a late call up for me because I technically didn't qualify for Canada's Strongest Man because um, as an athlete, to qualify for Canada's Strongest Man, you either need to be competing at Worlds, and that's a direct invite, or you podium at like Western Canada Strongest Man or Eastern Canada Strongest Man, and then you go to the final. So just because our newborn came in the summer, I couldn't make the qualifier. So I got a late call up for that from JF. And yeah, I mean, I placed second again for the second time in a row. So that was a great show. Um, and then I got my Giants Live opportunity, which kind of surprised me because I didn't see it coming to the World Tour Finals. Um, I had about 4 weeks of training prep for it, so not the longest training time. And I was actually working a shutdown. So I was working 3 weeks straight of 84 hours a week. So not ideal to try and peak for the biggest show of your life and work 84 hours a week. But I tried my best. I didn't place as well as I would have hoped. So I knew realistically I had to go to OSG to try and at least earn an invite back to another Giants Live or potentially get to World's Strongest Man. So yeah, 2025 was a very good year in my books, and I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Oh, it was a huge year. Did anything surprise you at Giants Live?
Um, Everyone talks about the pace of Giants Live, and it wasn't really shocking because I kind of expected it coming in. I've heard everyone talk about it, and the way that JF runs his shows are kind of similar. They're except for they're outside in the summer heat, so it's a very quick reset up. He's got very good crews there, so it's very similar to Giants Live. The biggest difference being 9,000 people cheering for you, which is like it blew me away. It was such a cool experience, and like it pushes you to another limit you didn't think you had when that many people are cheering for you.
Yeah, the walkout, right? When the lights hit you and you hear that noise.
Your
Um,
song, you get to pick your song. Oh, it gives you chills.
oh man, that's awesome. I wasn't at that show. I watched it on the live stream. And this might be embarrassing for me. Am I remembering this right? Did you pick up an injury at that show?
I had a knee injury from North Americans that I'm actually still kind of rehabbing.
Hmm.
So yeah, it wasn't the best. Like my log numbers were down. I mean, it's not my best event to begin with, but I hit more at North Americans than I did there. So I was hoping to hit more, but yeah, dealing with like a patella problem in my knee, it hindered some of the events, but I pushed on.
No, yeah, well, you did really well, like everything considered, you know. And one thing I was thinking when you were talking about, yeah, you became a dad for the first time last year, and in my own life, being a dad is like my favorite thing. It's the most important thing in my life. My son Josh is just beautiful. I wondered, like, how did that radical thing happening change your life?
Yeah, it's not easy, but I have to give 99% of the credit to my wife. She's there, obviously feeding him and taking care of him when I'm at work, and then when I come home, I see him for a bit, and then I have to go train, and then I come back, and then he's sleeping. So I get to miss out on that, but that's just part of the process right now. I wouldn't change for anything in the world though, because I love the little guy, and he's kind of crawling now, and he's kind of talking. So it just fills my heart having a little boy. We've always wanted a boy, and there's talks about another one down the line, but one thing at a time, and yeah, it's been great.
That's beautiful, man. And like, yeah, enjoy the one you've got, and then who knows what the future could hold.
Yeah, he's been to a couple of my competitions too, like my provincial title. He was there, so he got to see Dad win when he was, I don't know, a couple months old, and then he came to Scotland with us, so he's already been international.
No way. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Did it feel different competing with your son there? An extra bit of motivation to show him what daddy's got?
It did. I know he can't see it, like, he was so young at the time, he couldn't see what was going on, but we're always gonna have those memories to look back on. We have the pictures, we have the videos to our YouTube, we could always show him later, and, the team at Giants Live actually made, like, a little strongman crocheted toy for him, so that's a keepsake we're gonna have for the rest of our life, so that's pretty cool.
That's really cool, man. And it's those things, isn't it? He's going to be able to look back on that and see daddy going to work. And
Yeah.
that's really cool, man.
Yeah,
Um,
it's awesome.
you are on, well, most people's tongues at the moment, your name. The World's Strongest Man invites have gone out. There's still four remaining. Lots of us, myself included, were expecting to see you in there. Um, talk us through, where are you at with it at the moment? Are you still hopeful?
Yeah, I'm still hopeful. That's all I could pretty much do at this point. It's a tough position to be in because OSG has never officially been a guaranteed qualifier to Worlds. It just happened to be that the past 4+ years, at minimum, the top two have been invited to World's Strongest Man, regardless if it's 30 athletes or 25. So when the invite started coming out, and the first batch were the guys officially qualified, returning champs. So that makes sense. We're kind of just have to wait for the next one, and then the next group of wild cards dropped. And okay, I wasn't on there, but Pataka was, who won OSG. So it's like, okay, well, now there's only 4 spots. So there's a lot of deserving athletes, and that's the problem. I'm never going to say I deserve a spot more than the next guy. There's just a lot of guys that deserve an opportunity to compete there. Um, we just have to wait to see what happens at Europe's Strongest Man, because there are still officially 3 spots left to that competition. Um, but I think 5 of the guys competing there are already qualified. So it's it's totally up in the air what's going to happen. I think all we could do is just wait and see, and um, maybe hopefully be a reserve. Like, I'm not sure. I haven't got any information back of exactly what's going to happen because we don't know. So we just have to stay ready, train as if we were going. If the call comes, great. If not, I put in some extra training.
I love that attitude. And I think everyone watching will agree that kind of positive outlook on it, because there are so many of you guys in that position. Actually, a few of you Canadians who, like Wes and Tristan and and yourself, and then obviously there's like, Hanson Pavlo not invited yet,
Yeah,
and others, and there's only 4 spots left. It's very feasible that the top three at Europe's, well, there might be people who are already qualified. It could be Luke Richardson, Luke Stoltman, Adam Bishop, Paddy,
yeah,
So those,
42.
yeah, 42, yeah, wow. So those spots might end up coming your way. Tom
Yeah,
Evans. How have I forgotten Tom Evans? I only spoke to him the other day. Um,
yeah,
there's loads of you guys. Um, would you be open to being a reserve if it didn't go the way you wanted?
yeah. I mean, for sure, it's you never know what can happen. Look back long ago. Magnus Magnus was a reserve, and he got to compete his first time, and I think he won, didn't
He
he?
won,
So
yeah.
you never know what can happen because they're still the Arnold, and I think 9 of those guys are competing at Worlds. So I never want to wish an injury on anyone. I hope that never happens, but that's just the the dance we dance, and it can happen. So even being a reserve, you never know what can happen, or if someone can't get a visa or can't get a flight or misses something, I for sure would rather be there and be trained as if I was competing, and then just be ready if the call comes.
Yeah, I think of it as it's almost the nature of the beast. Sadly, there are going to be injuries, although obviously we hope never. And Britain's
Yes.
Strongest Man recently was the first Giants Live, I think someone said in like 3 years, when no one's got injured and pulled out.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, there is a lot to be said for just being ready for whatever comes.
that's
People
right.
always talk about Paddy Haynes last year. He was a reserve invite to Europe's. He managed to sneak in, smashed it, came second, got himself into Worlds, came fifth at Worlds, got himself into. Who knows? The world's your oyster.
That's right. Yeah, there's that saying that no need to get ready if you stay ready, and that's kind of where I'm going to be at for the next next few months for sure.
Mm. How will you balance? Because obviously you've got the Siberian Power Show coming up in a kind of early March. Is it
Yeah,
early March or no mid March? Right. Um,
end of March.
oh yeah, it's just before Europe's. Yeah, it's because Matthias is doing that and Europe's. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
How are
two
you
weeks
going to
apart.
balance training for that whilst also training for the world's events, just in case?
Yeah, I guess now that we know the events for Worlds, I could see kind of what the heat events, what weaker ones would be there for me, and I'll focus on those, which is like mainly just the squat, which is what we've been working on anyway. So it's going to carry over regardless. Um, but as of right now, like the focus is the events for Siberia because I want a podium there. That's my goal, and then there is 4 weeks in between Siberia and World, so that's enough time to put in a mini prep to do that and just be as ready as we can be. As if I'm healthy and strong for Siberia, I'm going to be healthy and strong for World. So we'll just throw in some of the events after we get back home, I guess.
Mm. How do you feel about Siberian? Because it's a really strong lineup, including yourself. You are one of the hot favourites, obviously. Big lineup, big events. Yeah, how are you feeling about it?
I'm excited. I'm a little nervous about how the travel is going to go there. Like, I'm not sure if that's a 2 day full travel or 3 days. I'm still working with some details. So, but that's nothing new to me. Flying international. I've been to Iceland before. I competed at Magnus. So, Scotland. I'm used to travel, but that's just a little bit further. But I'm feeling good. The events are pretty good for me. There's some good grip events in there that I can showcase that stereotype Canadian grip. So I'm excited for that. And then yeah, just the opportunity to compete against some guys that I will probably never get the opportunity to go against again. Some of the Iranians, Russians, and then there's some guys that I have competed against before: Nick Wortham, um, Vilius, and then another one that's going to be announced shortly. I won't say his name yet, but yeah, I'm excited. I think 13 different countries represented there, so a lot of people talking about it, and it's going to be hard to predict who's going to podium because there's a lot of people definitely capable of podium there.
Yeah, it's an incredible comp. And I was wondering when you were talking then, you mentioned about travel. I know someone, I won't say their name, even though I know they'll watch this, who was sounded out for the Siberian show, Googled it, and saw that their country recommends against traveling to Russia and said they weren't going to take the risk. Any thoughts around that, or are you just like, no, just get me on the plane and get me there?
If you look at the Canadian government website, they say the same thing. But I'm there for sport. I'm not there for politics. I'm coming in there neutral, and we're there for sport. That's what all of us are there for. It's a big festival. It's I think bodybuilding, strongman. Um, I think there's that slap fighting. Like it's a big festival. So I'm going there just neutral, and I'm there for sport and in competition. So I'm just there to have fun.
And it's such a great showcase for people like yourself. I know BJ Stone's doing it, I think.
Yes, yeah, him
Big
too.
showcase for all you guys who are like really pushing to be noticed and pushing to be welcomed into that level above, to really stamp your authority and say, look at me, look how good I am. Um,
Yeah, you look at the weights, and they're on par with some of the other big shows. So it's not it shouldn't be a show that should just be skipped over because you look at the results, you look at the weights, and it's going to be competitive.
mm. What's your comp schedule looking like for the rest of the year after Siberian? Let's park Worlds to the side because fingers crossed, but will you be in North Americas again this year?
Yep, for sure. If I don't get invited to Worlds, that will mean that in order to get to Canada's Strongest Man, I'll have to do the qualifier. So Western Canada's Strongest Man, um, I think is in early July, and I would like to do that one. I didn't do it last year, but I've won it before, and I've came second twice. So I've always been top two in there. Um, so that's one that I would probably do, and then for sure North America's Strongest Man. Um, believe the end of July is when it's scheduled for,
Yeah.
and this year it's going to be ridiculous. Like the lineup hasn't been announced yet, but it's going to be insane, and there's going to be a lot of eyes watching this because it's going to be ridiculous.
It's
Um,
basically a strongest man on earth lineup, right?
it pretty much is, and the way JF runs it, it's usually 8 events over 2 days, and there's maxes, there's death medleys, there's heavy reps. It's one of the best shows in North America for sure. One of the hardest to podium. That's definitely true.
Mm.
Um, and that's yeah. So that's the summer, and then I do have Giants Live that I earned that spot from placing second at OSG last year. I can't say which one because they haven't announced them yet, but I will be coming back across the pond, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
And then, I mean, whatever else comes my way, it depends how Giants Live goes. Because if it goes really well and as good as I hope it does, then I won't do OSG. I won't have to do OSG. But if it doesn't go well, then I'll do it again. It's the same spot I was in last year. My goal was to try and be top five at Giants Live.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Didn't have a good performance. So I knew if I wanted to get back, I would have to go back to OSG and do the same thing, just improve on my placing. And that's exactly what I did. So if I have to do it again, that's what I'll do.
I love that attitude. Yeah. I'll do whatever I need to get there kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Um, and then awesome that you're being re-invited to a Giants Live as well, by the way. I won't push you for which one. I'm sure all of us looking at dates will be like, okay, there's a couple towards the end of the year. I'm sure it's between.
Yeah.
One thing I was chatting to someone the other day about OSG, and I'm aware that I'm asking a question that there might not be an answer to. Um, but with OSG, that is the big chance for you guys to stake a claim, right? But what happens with OSG if people like yourself who have been there, done well, earned your spot to go up to Giants Live, if you guys stay there because you have to, because you've got no other opportunities, how do the new people come through?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I've always done, other than last year because of the my surgery, but I've always done the Arnold Amateur.
Hmm.
Um, I've always done the Shaw Classic when I could, and then OSG. So I've always done those qualifiers. Like if I can't sit back and complain about not getting invites if you're not doing the qualifiers to these shows. So that's what I would always recommend to anyone trying to get to the next level is to just do the qualifiers. That's going to get you to the next level, compete in front of the promoters that have they're the eyes, they know what's going on. So if you're not competing in front of them, they're not going to know who you are. So that's what I would do. That's what I'd recommend, and that's what I'll keep doing myself if I have to.
Hell yeah. Were you meant to be at the Shaw Classic this summer?
Um, I was going to like I yes I did qualify because I was top 10 the year before,
Hmm.
but just with scheduling and work and stuff like that, I just couldn't take it off. And with Bruce only being I think at that time 2 months old. I couldn't make that one work. And then
Oh,
unfortunately, it doesn't lead to anything this year,
yeah.
which hopefully that carries over for Ben for 2027, hopefully. But yeah, that's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, man, that would have been exciting, and I obviously fully hope that Ben and trust that Ben's spot will be carried over. Would have been really exciting to see you there fighting with Ben. That would have been really tight because I know Tim Buck was meant to be there and then couldn't go at the last moment because it was such a cool show, man.
Yeah, it is.
Really, and I love how Brian runs everything. And North America's, it's killed me. It's the weekend before England's Strongest Man. Um,
Okay.
and because I was talking to Ben the other day and saying like we should go, like it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And now we can't because obviously Ben will be a week out from England and he can't do that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to see you guys throw down, man. Like it's insane the list of
Oh,
people doing that comp.
yeah. It's gonna be one to watch. Like we can't say too much right now, but it's gonna be insane.
Mm. Does North America's qualify you for anything else? Like if you won it?
Yeah, so it officially qualifies if you win North Americans, it officially qualifies you for strongest man on earth. So how I mean, what does that mean? Excuse me. For this year, I'm not too certain. Maybe strongest man on earth comes back in 2027, and then the winner would qualify for the next year's, or you know, maybe the winner, maybe Rogue looks at North Americans as being, a part of their qualifying or ranking system because with who's going to be there, there's no denying you're one of the best in the world if you podium. So, I mean, hopefully other promoters look at North Americans results and some more invites can come from that because it's not officially qualifying you for anything as of like right now.
Mm. The thing, and I'm not trying to trip you up here, I promise. The thing that, as a fan myself, I sometimes get a bit confused by is the idea that strongman is a sport and an elite level sport, but it's also a business. And you start talking about promoters and who's going to recognize other people. And I'm sure that if I was, for instance, Darren Sadler, head of Giants Live, I wouldn't want to open the door to other businesses being involved in my business because my business is brilliant. And that, there's no governing body, there's no overarching rule set. As a fan, it confuses and frustrates me, I think, because I would see, okay, Tom Evans coming third at Strongest Man on Earth. I think, well, of course he's going to get invited to World's Strongest Man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then I realise, oh, it's two separate businesses.
Yeah.
And that
It,
kind of
it,
confuses me.
yeah. It's a tough spot to be in because, like you said, at the end of the day, this is the business. Um, and yeah, the Giants Live crew, they have a very successful business and the way it's ran and every show, it's completely sold out. It's huge in the UK. It's big in other parts of the world too. But like you said, if you start picking from this and that, and then not this winner from this show, but you pick that winner from that show, and it's tough to be in like, and you can't just how do you make a list of like, hey, here's a list of the top 50 guys in the world, and then you just pick from there and just keep working your way down. I'm not sure what the best system is to try and pick who deserves the spot and who doesn't. Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. I'm not sure what the best way for that is. I think we would all like to know that.
In England, we have a saying, maybe it's worldwide, and I'm just ignorant. Turkeys don't vote for Christmas, because obviously turkeys get eaten at Christmas.
Right, right.
And I'm sure if you, for instance, and I'm British, so I lean that way, with Giants Live, if you said to the organisers or to Darren and Colin, oh, if you change your system and make it more meritocratic, where it's fair and blah, blah, and your profits are going to be cut in half because you can't invite that name that sells tickets, that sells
Yeah,
merch, that people love, they're not going to turn around and go, oh, okay, we'll half our profits in order
yeah.
to. Yeah, turkeys don't vote for Christmas.
No, that's just the nature of the beast, and that's what makes these shows successful. And I think some people just maybe don't realize how much time and money and effort goes into like some of these productions. Like when I went to Giants Live and seen the backstage and how much equipment they had, and media equipment and semis of equipment. I'm like, okay, this obviously is not cheap. So yeah, it's a very, very well ran business. And yeah, they have, other athletes that come in and sell tickets, but they're also giving opportunities for new guys coming up. I think at World Tour Finals, there was 4 or 5 of us rookies there for our first time. So they're getting the opportunities out to guys. It's just if you don't place well, you have to try and get your way back, and that's the tough spot. That's a hard thing. Easier said than done.
Yeah, I get you. But to me, it sounds like you've got the right attitude of, I'm going to go to Siberia, I'm going to go to North Americas, I'm going to go to Arnold, yeah, and smash them all. Um, how come you're not at the Arnold this year? Just because you got Siberia's?
Well, I didn't do Arnold because I was hopeful to be going to Worlds, and that's kind of where um, my mindset was. But then I knew there was a good chance I would get to Siberia too because I got invited last year, and then I did better at OSG last year. So that's kind of where we put our focus on. But I would like to go back to the Arnold. Every time I've done it, I've made the finals. So it's not like I wouldn't be competitive there. Maybe in 2027, yeah, we make a trip down to Columbus.
Oh yeah, force your way in.
Yep.
I always think that's, you look at people like Nick Guardione, you force your way in. They can't ignore you if you
That's
podium
right.
or if you win. Well, actually, I'm saying that to someone who's come second at OSG and
Yeah.
potentially hasn't forced their way into Worlds. Um, is there anything that you think, as a North American, as a Canadian, that you think the sport could do better your side of the pond to help people grow? Would it be something like JF circuit being like formally recognized or anything like that?
Just from other people I've talked to about trying to grow it more on this side is to just try and get like a better live stream to showcase what we do here in Canada. The circuit is successful. They run a lot of shows. They actually just had a show yesterday out in the winter. So they run shows all year long. And in the summer, it's pretty much one every weekend. So they're heavyweights. They're some of the best competitors in the world. Like some of these guys, West does them frequently because he's over there, and Max has done them. And the circuit's starting to come more to the West side. So, you might see Tristan compete. And then if I do Westerns, I'll compete. So very competitive circuit. It's just not live streamed. JF does have a deal with RDS, which is like the French TSN network. So it is broadcasted on TV, but in French and on the east side of Canada. So um, I think that'll be one thing to try and grow it a little bit more and worldwide is to get it live streamed or maybe duped over with English subtitles or something or commentated in English because I think a lot of people would tune in to watch these shows. Definitely would tune in to watch North Americans and even Canada's Strongest Man. So um, that's what I would. That's what I see people kind of saying to try and grow it more worldwide.
I love that, man. The idea that I'm trying to just say everywhere I can, just in case it ever happens. I really like the idea of, I refer to it as a contender series. So we have 6 Giants Lives a year. I would love to see 6 contender series events, which are like a level below, almost like an OSG level, maybe.
Yeah,
And every one of those smaller shows, maybe the top 2 people get a spot at a Giants Live. So there's 12 athletes at every Giants Live. 2 of them are always contenders who have been on that circuit below. A bit like Siberian, a bit like, I'm not going to call North America's a contender series because Jesus
right.
Christ, the lineup. But yeah, I love that idea of just providing more opportunities for you guys to turn up, smash it, force your way into a Giants, and who knows what can happen.
Yeah, or even if they had like say one more Giants, I know they went over to Vegas a couple years ago and tried it, but like have another Giants live, say like North America, or a Giants live for people who like me who are on the come up, who are on the bubble of getting to World's Strongest Man. Let them all duke it out because it's gonna sell. People will watch it. People will tune in. People will buy the live stream. It's just I guess who decides who's on the bubble? That's kind of where it would get tricky of, well, I'm on the bubble because I came third at North Americans, or I'm on the bubble because I was second here. I'm not sure how that would all work out, but you get the next, I don't want to call them B tier guys like me and like say BJ Stone or whatever. But man, would that be one heck of a competition? And if you're competitive there, you're going to be competitive at a Giants Live.
Hell yeah. I like that term of guys on the bubble rather than B tier, because you're definitely all on the come up. Your trajectory is like going upwards.
Yeah.
And imagine the atmosphere, imagine the intensity with you guys all knowing we're all on a level and I've got to turn up and perform to get my spot.
Yeah, some
Oh,
extra pressure for sure.
I would watch it, man. And yeah, me and Ben flew out to the Vegas. It was the deadlift champs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, and like it was awesome, but sadly it wasn't well attended. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a million reasons for that. And Darren Sadler, I'm sure, like has forgotten more about business than I will ever know.
Right.
So it's not on me to suggest why. Um, but I hope that hasn't what's the word? I hope it hasn't made them cautious about going out again.
Right. Yeah. I hope they do. Yeah.
I love it, man. James, this has been like a real joy, a real joy. I love when you Canadians and stuff come on. Um, we always end with a little kind of fluff piece, building your favorite strongman or building your dream strongman, right? Rules are they have to be active right now, so they can't have retired. No Eddie Hall, no Big Z, Brian, no. Although actually, I was going to say no JF, but then it was Wes that pointed out to me that JF is still competing. I was
Yeah.
like,
You
okay,
competed last year. Yeah.
okay. You can only pick someone once, so if you pick someone as your deadlifter, they can't be your overhead or anything like that, right?
Okay.
You can pick yourself, but obviously only once. The
Yeah.
criteria or the categories, sorry. Someone's deadlift, someone's overhead, someone's loading medley, someone's stones, someone's grip, someone's mentality, their mindset, and someone's body who's jacked. Um,
Okay.
so hit us up, man. Who's your
Yeah.
deadlifter?
Well, I've been watching your videos and kind of listening to what other people have saying. So I kind of brainstormed this a little bit. But okay, what was the first event?
Deadlift.
I would have to say Thor. He's I think he's everyone's pick for deadlift. He keeps breaking the bar every single time, and he's gonna get it set so far ahead of anyone that's gonna try and attempt it. It's I don't know how far he could push it, but definitely Thor for deadlift.
Essentially, he's the best deadlifter of all time, so that makes perfect
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Go on then. Overhead. Who are you picking? It's got to be well rounded. Any implement, dumbbells, logs, bars.
yeah. That's a toss up for me between I'd say Trey and Lucas, but I'm going to give the edge to Trey. Um, Looking back at previous comps, they're very close, neck and neck. But I think as a well-roundedness, I would pick Trey, and I guess we'll see. We'll see in a couple of weeks at the Arnold. But my pick would be Trey.
That's an awesome pick. When you say Trey, what comes to my mind is like Viking press. All these things. He's just insane. It's a
Viking
great
press
pick.
and his tank. Like look at Rogue, he just kept going rep for rep with Mitch, and he just kept pushing it. So yeah, I'd say Trey.
Hell yeah. Okay, so loading medley.
Loading. Um, I would have to say Patty Haynes. If it's a sandbag, it's yeah, good luck everyone else. You put it on a steeplechase or anything. He's just so fast, and um, I know he's been putting on some weight, but he's still holding his pace. He's still athletic, so um, yeah, that guy can move.
Yeah, and like that's the funny thing about Paddy is you say he's putting on weight, and he is. I think he's put on about 10 kilos or so, but he's still, I think, around the mid 130s kilos. So he's
Yeah,
still a smaller guy, even with all that added weight.
yeah.
So next up, stones. Who's your stone lifter?
Stones. I would say Bryce Johnson, because ultimately he cost me the podium at OSG 2 years ago because we were going neck and neck, and I knew he was good at stones, and he said he knew I was good at stones, and he demolished. He beat us all by like 10 seconds. He one motioned up to 400, and like I was like, okay, well, this guy can do stones. And then at Smo, he doubled to 550. So like, yeah, I'd say he's got the height, he's got the wingspan. You can't beat. It's hard to beat Bryson Stones.
He really is kind of this generation's Brian Shaw in many ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Huge, American, polite, really good
Yeah,
at everything. You know?
yeah, and he's a very likable guy.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, who's grip? Who's got them hands?
Grip. Um, it hurts not saying a Canadian because that's the stereotype, but I'm gonna have to go with Eddie Williams. Um, you put him on any Hercules hold or farmers, even at Giants Live, he wins farmers events.
Mm.
Um, I think even at Smo, he won the frame into arm over arm, so he's got the grip. I'd pick Eddie.
Yeah, great pick. That frame at Smo was horrendous.
Yeah, a lot
He
of people
killed it.
struggled with it. And
Mm.
wasn't an issue for him.
Not for him. Okay, what about mindset? Who's got that killer mentality?
Um, I'd say it's hard to not pick Mitch Hooper.
Yep.
Um, he's he's obviously been through a lot the past little while, but he shows that he can come back, and when his head's on point, he's unbeatable. He knows how to, I'm not gonna say cheat, but he knows how to play the game, and he does exactly what he needs to do to win. He knows what not to do, and I'd say his mentality is it's hard to beat him when his head's in the right spot and he just knows the game.
Mm. I've heard that a lot, that Mitch analyzes every event and essentially looks for what isn't outlawed in the rules.
Yeah,
And if it's
I saw
not
a video.
outlawed, he goes for it.
Right, and I seen a video of his. He was at a Giants show and they're doing the arm pull, and he brought his phone with the level to see, put it on the floor to see if there was a slight grade to the arena floor. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, does it matter? I'm not sure, but still, just to think of something like that, I mean, that's a pretty good headspace to be in.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy. Because the things I've heard is that yeah, he asked Dave Warner, the Giants ref, if on a sandbag steeplechase he noticed that nowhere in the rules did it say that the bag had to touch the floor halfway through. So he
Yeah.
asked if he could just rest the bag
Oh,
on the platform, run around, pick it back, so he didn't have to pick it up the floor. And like,
right.
um, I'm interested at the Arnold to see what he does with the Dinny event.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, and I know people who have been in rules meetings with him, and he's got the right mind space to either ask the questions or not to ask the questions.
Yeah. I got you, man. Okay, and then final one. The way I always explain this is who's so jacked that when they take their shirt off, my wife swoons, you know?
um, well, I'd have to say Luke Stoltman. Um,
Yes.
like he's aging like fine wine. He's like what 41 years old and he's shredded. And when we were in Scotland, we actually went up and visited them. We went to the gym. We did a cold dip. We did a cold plunge, and yeah, so we're in our little skippies or our budgie smugglers,
Hell yeah.
and yeah, he's pretty shredded.
Yeah, man. He's having that like second wind to his career, isn't he? Where he's looking jacked, he's performing really well, finalist at Worlds, Europe's strongest man, Britain's strongest man. And he's got a pretty good training partner, so I'm sure that
Yeah, he does.
pushes him
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
That's an awesome strongman you've just picked, man, and some really good kind of out there picks. First person to pick Luke Stoltman for body, and yeah, that's awesome, man. James, this has been genuinely a real pleasure. Like you Canadians are obviously known for being polite and lovely, and you very much are so. Everyone has got their fingers crossed for you, man, because second place at OSG. Come on, worlds, like get this man there. So
yeah.
yeah,
No, I appreciate all the love. I've, a lot of comments, a lot of messages, and I mean that's the problem. There's a lot of deserving guys. I'm not one to say I'm more deserving than the next, but if the call comes, I'll be ready. I hope it does. Um, so that's all we can do is just keep training, keep being ready, and stay hopeful.
hell yeah, man. James, thank you so much, pal. All the best. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you.